Hello, so I thought I would do some film reviews for Halloween, look up some nice spooky horror films, and so I went on the internet, had a look, what films are good, and one that came up was called Midsommar, although looking at all the other film reviews it does look like I'm about 3 months late to the party, but never mind. I enjoyed it, however I can clearly see how some people won't. Basically, if you like your fast action movies, you're not going to like this. If you like your gory movies, most of it you're not going to like. There are one or two scenes when you be satisfied, but generally, no. If you like your ghost stories, it might be a horror, but there are no ghosts in this story, so you're not going to like that. But basically, if you like your arty films, very, very artistic, this film. The way the cameras angles are shot, the scenes and everything. It is a masterclass on artistic photography. The storyline is a little bit slow. I watched the director's cut, which is about 20 minutes longer than the full cinema version, I believe. So I'm not actually sure what extra scenes are in the director's cut compared to the cinema version, but that's the one I saw, so it's just under 3 hours long. And I did feel there were a few moments where, okay, it's a little bit slow, it drags a little bit. I mean, I like a slow film if it can keep me engaged. There have been several slow films I've watched, but they've kept me engaged, and I'm like, okay, this is cool. So maybe the theatrical version may have been a bit better because it is 20 minutes shorter, but I haven't seen it, so I don't know. But generally, it's good. I mean, there's some people, they go, they're studying anthropology, they go to Sweden to see this village and this old way of life, and they're pretty much a cult, and then some bad things happen. It's supposed to be a horror film, so you can infer that some bad things will happen. Although it's not your typical horror film because it's sunny, it's bright, it's well lit, it's colourful throughout virtually all of it. It's not like your typical horror film where it relies on the darkness and the jump scares and the building up the tension and something happens and then it dies down again. A lot of what happens is actually off screen, and you kind of just have to imagine what's happening and infer what's going on by what's there. So basically, because what is the bad things which are occurring aren't always necessarily obvious and right in your face, and the people you're following don't actually realise that they're in danger for quite a long time, and you may be thinking, oh my god, they need to get out of there, and at some point there is discussions or even arguments about leaving, but then they stay, and then just like, you know, this is just the way things are here. And plus it doesn't help them the fact that they're drugged most of the time. Sometimes they're drugged by choice, that, you know, they have some mushrooms when they first arrived. Other times they're not really don't have really a say in it, they don't realise, so that kind of keeps their defences down and it keeps their guard down, and it keeps them kind of like blind to what's going on until it's kind of really too late, and then they're like, okay, yeah, we're fucked. Well, those that are left anyway. So, and plus there's like a morbid curiosity there, because they're there to study the way of life there. And there are clues and subtle hints all the way throughout the film, but you know, they're so subtle. They're the sort of thing you miss them and that's it, you've missed them. The only reason I spotted some of them is because I admit I have watched a couple of film reviews for this film before making my own review. I don't normally do that, but you know, I felt like I would. And there are subtleties all the way through that explain what's going on, and it is kind of like blink and you miss it type thing. And it's just because it's just so not your typical horror, because everyone there seems so happy and smiley and kind and polite and just nice people. And in fact, it's just basically a death cult. Basically, they just like killing people. Yeah, they're all fucked. And then one thing which I will say, I predicted one of the characters would die. I mean, they pretty much all die. But I've mentioned so many times in my film reviews, I hate predictable films. And one of the people who I actually predicted to die quite early on in the film actually didn't die. I won't say who it is because that would spoil it. And I was like, okay, that's quite good because I did not see that coming. I thought I'd sussed it out early on, and I hadn't, so that's good. But generally I liked it, but I mean, if you look at the review, if you go to the Midsommar Facebook page, you get some really polarising reviews in there. If you click on the review bit, people are either saying it's the greatest film ever or the worst film ever. And reading the Facebook reviews for it reminded me of something I was told when I was a kid at school, saying just because you don't like something doesn't mean it's bad, it just means you don't like it, it's not to your taste. So a lot of people saying it's the worst film, it's shit, it's total garbage. And then other people saying they loved it. I did like it. I enjoyed it. I wouldn't say it's the best film I've ever seen, but I did enjoy it and it did keep me entertained. But you've got to remember, it's not for everyone's taste. And just because you don't like this film doesn't mean it's a bad film, because a lot of people do like this film. But again, at the same time, a lot of people won't like it. They'd find it too slow. They'd find it too boring. And they say there's not enough happening, but there are things happening. The problem is with this film, there are things happening all the time, but it's subtle, it's discreet, it's in the background. They don't make a big deal of it. It's kind of there, but if you're not focused on it, you won't see it. And so if people are watching it, but they miss all these things all the way through the film, they're going to think literally nothing is happening for ages. And in fairness, the first moment is 1 hour in. And I'm saying I watched the 2 hour 50-minute version, so nearly 3 hours. So like 1/3 of the film had gone before you get the first, oh my God, what the F moment. But even then things don't really progress for a while. You think, oh my God, it's starting to be like, oh, but then it doesn't. And then you're like, okay, it's all good. But then, yeah, things happen. I would recommend it. I'd say there is violence, there is death, there is a fucked up sex scene, and there's a lot of happy, smiley, bright, colourful people who like to wear lots of flowers, and it's all wonderful, and isn't life brilliant? So yeah, that's Midsommar. Not a date movie, definitely not a date movie, but other than that, yeah, go watch it.